All right, that's me, I guess. Okay. All right. Okay. Looks pretty good. Great pleasure to be here. Nick, thank you very much for the kind introduction. And I'll just focus my attention today with a very simple task: how we can build more collaborations with the business school and IDC. Very simply, I'd like to spend the next 20 minutes or so, not to do a keynote about my research. I mean, that's not my primary focus at this point, but more about how we can get more collaborations with the business school and IDC and all of the areas across campus. As Nick said, I'm an engineer by training, and officially my Ph.D. is in information sciences and information system and data science. So from the very beginning of my career, my research has focused on data science, and both in my former institution at Temple University, I co-directed with a statistician and a computer scientist the university-wide Data Science Institute, similar to what Nick masterfully leads at University of Miami. So I'm very familiar with university-wide collaboration, and even Nick, that was exactly the same challenge I had there, how the business school is involved with data science. Luckily, similar to what I will qualify the business school here, basically is we have also the management science or the statistics department of the university. I mean, Lan Wang's the department chair there. She's a statistician by training, so Lan is there and publishes in very traditional top statistics journal. Sorry to make you, to put you on the spot. So we have some really world-class statisticians here at the University of Miami in the business school. And also, the business school here is quite different than most other traditional business schools. I'd like to describe the program, and I will get into some details about the research that many of our faculty and PhD students are conducting in the business school. So as I mentioned, we have a management science department that has statistics, operations research, and the people who do even applied math, so more non-business areas. We also have a business technology department. That's kind of my home department, information systems. I saw some of the faculty here in the department, and I mentioned their names here in the presentation. Again, it's a very, I would call it applied computer science, technical department that deal with all aspects of information sciences. We also have a healthcare management department. And we counted about 15 faculty in the business school who do work in healthcare. So basically, it's very uncommon to have such faculty from non-traditional business area. And then we have also a business law department. Actually, one of our faculty does work in AI and law, which is also not very common, even for law aspects. So we're a very non-traditional business school with many technical areas across areas where I see opportunity with the Data Science Institute here to conduct collaborations. So basically, I see a lot of opportunities for us to work together. So the purpose of what I'm going to be talking about is describing the research and areas that our faculty currently work on, and try to at least create the enthusiasm and opportunities for our faculty to work with members of the Institute for Data Science and Computing. The other thing I'd like to talk about is the very big importance of AI. Very recently, we completed our 2025-2029 strategic plan. So, and just for those who don't know, 25 is the centennial celebration of the university. 2029 is actually the centennial celebration of the business school. And basically, we identified as part of a strategic plan several areas that we want to be known for. And the number one up there, of course, with the whole emphasis on AI, is AI, technology, data science. So very much like to see how we can, both within the business school, but more excitedly across the university, across industry, would like to do more collaboration interdisciplinary in this broad space of technology, AI, and data science. So that's a very big part of what we want to do as a business school. And I guess with Nick's leadership, now we're officially partner schools within the Data Science Institute. So I think that allows us to work together to find some opportunities for collaboration. As Nick said, we're working on a joint hire for this year. And hopefully, pending some of these hiring challenges we might be facing, we'd like to hire many such faculty so we can foster such collaborations across the board. So basically, as I said, the objective of this presentation is to talk about the more AI, technology, and data science areas in the business school so we can introduce what we do in this less traditional business school so we can foster more opportunities for collaboration. And then the last thing I'd like to say is that as a business school, yes, we provide the research expertise. We have programs in terms of grants. But I think the biggest advantage that we have as a business school is the connections to industry. And obviously, Miami has a booming economy across multiple industries, from finance to healthcare to sustainability to real estate. And they all have amazing amounts of data. And all these industries are really, really excited about AI, technology. There's a fair amount of buzz in this AI term, but still there's a lot of interest in using data, using machine learning, using new technologies. So we're in a very opportune time to work with industry. And I guess, as I mentioned earlier in my previous institution, that I was a co-director, and again, I had a question, what does a business school person bring to the table? I was bringing a lot of industry connections and data from companies. And in Philadelphia, pharmaceutical industries were very big. And working with some of these big pharmaceutical companies and getting data back in the notion of big data, for those who've been in the area for a while, back in 2010, 2012, basically it was something very, very exciting. So we're able to connect with industry and bring opportunities, data, and money to the table. And that's something I'd like the business school to play a role here, besides the hardcore science that, of course, we can contribute to be able to be that bridge to industry. So in the next few minutes, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of these areas that we work in the as a school. But I'd like to kind of talk about some of these overarching principles that I genuinely believe. And when I present around the world, around the AI, I talk about this notion here, that yes, there's a fair amount of buzz in this term and a lot of investment, that not all of that will pan out. But similar to those who remember the evolution of the internet, definitely the dot-com boom was a very big thing, and the dot-com bust was kind of equally bad and equally big. But of course, 25, 27 years later, nobody would say that the internet is not everywhere. The internet doesn't apply to, I guess, all the civilized and digital world. And then basically the democratization of the internet has been, a very big component in terms of information sharing, communication, transactions, and many, many other things. So we believe the same thing. At least I believe that, AI is everywhere. You see a lot of companies that really invest in different ways, in different approaches. Of course, you have the technical companies that lead the way in terms of the new tools, the new agents, the new machine learning applications, LLMs, the usual things. But increasingly, we see this notion of AI for all. And one thing I'd like to say that we do very cautiously and very diligently in the business school is embed AI across all of our curricula. And I think it's very important, not just in the technical areas, not for the analytics, not statistics, not computer science students, but whether it's finance, marketing, law, pretty much across our own curriculum, we believe that students should be able to know in their respective areas what to do. And if there is something I'd like to say here is, no matter where we are, whether it's healthcare, we're at Sylvester in the Cancer Center, or any aspects of business or non-business, AI is everywhere, and there are opportunities, to make our processes, our tasks, more efficient and effective. So I think that should be the mantra that we should be preparing. And then I really believe in the last part, the democratization of AI, because I think it's a technology that has a great potential. And being in the information systems area for a quarter of a century, all new technologies so far have been a net creator of jobs. Always, even since the first industrial revolution, the discussion was like, oh, factories will replace jobs, or agricultural tools will replace jobs. And of course, they were replacing some jobs, obviously, but they were creating more jobs. And we see that in the different industrial revolutions. Now we're allegedly on the fourth industrial revolution. And then, any new technology, including the internet and social media and so forth, they have been a net creator of jobs, and those jobs tend to be better jobs. AI, there will be an interesting empirical question, because they replace jobs that are not easy, they're not manual, they are not necessarily kind of your low-level jobs or lower-level jobs. So, anyway, it will be an interesting experiment. Of course, my general positive approach is to see more jobs being created in the creation of AI tools, in the usage of AI tools. But of course, when people think about entire professions, and not agriculture, not manufacturing, but people talk about lawyers and physicians and accountants and all sorts of jobs being replaced by AI, well, that would be an interesting question as to what kind of jobs we'll see in 5-10 years. So I think what we can do in the immediate future, and that's has been kind of what I've been trying to promote in the business school, across the university, how to get onto the, the ground level, the first floor, into this AI revolution, how to use it, not to create and design tools, but basically to use and become an intelligent user. At the very least, you'll be able to not to be replaced, at least immediately, by AI, and you should be able to make your job and your tasks more efficiently and effectively. So that's kind of a big part of what we believe. So moving on, as I said, I'd like to talk about the main research areas that we have in the business school here. So a big emphasis on machine learning. So basically, some creation of tools, especially with applications areas that I'll talk in a second. Of course, we're a business school. We have a lot of business applications about the future of work, applications for organizations, applications in how human and AI collaboration becomes very important. And one of the things that we don't recognize is this notion of augmented intelligence. And basically, it's not like AI versus human beings. I think it's a very unfortunate, kind of separation, at least for the foreseeable future, until machines and AI replace us all, and we can just relax and do nothing. That was my joke. In the meantime, we need to be able to use those tools effectively. But that, like any adoption of technology, AI adoption is also a challenging aspect. So part of what we do is that the human-AI collaboration. So that's a very, basic thing, that if we want AI agents to be used and complement what we do, we need to understand that human component. Interestingly, marketing is a very big component of AI. And I think it's one of those areas that will be revolutionized by AI and technology in the next several years. Digital marketing has already revolutionized the field of marketing, but now we see that AI will actually create from radio ads to TV ads to videos to branding materials to everything that traditionally marketing has been doing. But also a lot of things on customer segmentation, in terms of replacing call centers and many other things that traditionally salespeople and marketing people were doing. So that's a very big component of what we do, and I think there are so many opportunities to collaborate with the Data Science Institute and other colleagues across campus in this area. And then healthcare is another big area. As I mentioned earlier, we have about 15 faculty in the school who do work in the healthcare from an analytics perspective, data science perspective, AI perspective. And I think given where we have at the University of Miami with UHealth, the medical school, the Sylvester Cancer Center, I think there's so much opportunity, and I will describe some ideas and some areas we work on healthcare. And finally, we'd like to see more societal application of AI beyond organizations, and that's another fertile area for collaboration. All right, so basically, I'm providing some examples here. It's more like a glimpse of what we are doing, and just to at least attract everybody's attention into what work is being done in the business school, along with some of my colleagues' names who work on different areas. From the two of them dealing more with supply chain aspects in terms of optimization, and that's a very big part of data science, and we have people who do work in operations research and data science from that perspective, and we have many progress and many possibilities to do work in that area. More broadly, the last part in terms of explainability of AI, human AI interactions, our business technology department and many of the faculty are working in this area. So the general idea here is that whoever is interested in different aspects of that, especially from that human AI interaction, which I think is going to be very, very critical in the foreseeable future, I think that's an area that we can provide a lot of talent, a lot of collaboration opportunities in this space. All right, so moving on, I mentioned AI in marketing, a lot of new ideas and new opportunities here. Some of my colleagues working AI in customer service. And that's a very powerful statement here, because there are more than 1 million people in call centers in the United States and India. And of course, a lot of outsourcing in India, but now there's outsourcing to AI. So a lot of opportunities there. And of course, the adoption part of both from the customer side and from the organization side is quite important. So a lot of exciting opportunities there, but if there is one area that AI can relatively easily replace or at least complement is actually on the sales, the call centers, sales people. And even in the business school on a more practical side, and I mentioned that we were investing in AI across the board, even from a productivity tools, looking with our recruitment, marketing colleagues to either automate completely or have AI agents supplement, complement what our recruiters are doing. So, for example, Nick calls here and says, I'm interested in a master's in finance. Our goal is to have somebody reach out in 5 minutes. And of course, it's much easier for us to call somebody in an automated AI tool, or if a human being calls, to have all the materials next to him or her. So a lot of interesting work that can be done there with very important practical applicabilities. AI assistance in online shopping, a lot of interesting work on my colleagues Nina Huang is doing. And actually, I didn't want to talk about my own research, but I was working on similar work, and it was actually AI assistance providing you when you go to a store, providing recommendations to you and how you look in different shirts. I mean, nobody likes to actually go into the dressing room and look at how a piece of clothing will look on you. It's so much easier to have a big screen, kind of get your measurement and finds the clothes that are more likely to suit your whatever, how you look. And then you put it on the screen there and say, this is how you're going to look. You can always try them on the dress room. But anyway, the interesting thing we found in this study, amazing screens, these 85-inch screens, like life-size ones, and customers didn't like them. They were not using them, and they're ignoring them. And we told the company, why don't you create a smartphone app that you can give your customers in the beginning? So having this tiny, 6-inch interface with the same exact agent, and customers loved it. Much smaller, much worse than the 85-inch screen, but they kind of felt, and we asked them as part of the research, why? Why are you using this smartphone app and next to you this amazing, fancy-looking app? Well, it feels like it's mine, and this AI assistant is part of me, even if it's exactly the same AI tool, and basically are very much likely to use the app. They were buying from the mobile phone like crazy, and nobody was using or even buying anything from this big, fancy, multi-$1,000 screen. Anyway, my point is that this human-AI interaction is something real, and especially dealing with customers, kind of showing to them that you have some interface that they feel that it's theirs, that it provides them the authority to make decisions. It's not some kind of AI agent dictating what they buy. It's something that makes the interaction and from a company perspective, more valuable. So a lot of interesting things here. More broadly, a lot of things about machine learning in different aspects of marketing, brand management, product choice, ad testing. That's a very, very powerful area here that talking about ads. And of course, this is a multi-billion-dollar industry about ads. And of course, it takes a lot of time and a lot of expensive agencies, usually in New York, that they develop those ads. Now, basically, AI agents can create them, and it can create billions of them to test. But also now we don't even need real consumers to test them. We create or we can create intelligent kind of personas of consumers and say, this, a 40-year-old woman will react with 2 keys and everything. This is how she might like this ad. And you can do surveys and with not real human beings, but actually personas of human beings. So the ad testing, the ad creation, and the ad testing can be completely automated or at least heavily complemented by AI. So we're looking at these opportunities, and there's so many other aspects of marketing that can use these tools to improve things. I mean, email optimization, it's a very big thing. How many millions of dollars we spend on emails that they have a 1% open rate. So if you can optimize how they look, how they feel, who writes the content, there are so many opportunities to complement or replace, the traditional, human being. So a lot of aspects that are very exciting in the marketing space. And again, we're very much open to collaborate. And my marketing colleagues are delighted to have this collaboration. All right, moving on, more interactions, content moderation, that's another aspect, a lot of work in how AI can use from an HR perspective, labor management, so we work on different aspects from company strategy to HR and different aspects of human aspects. Many of their colleagues work on blockchain and the intersection with AI, so that's another big area that we work in the business school from a business technology perspective. And then the last one, there are so many legal implications of AI about ownership and how the different artifacts are created and who owns them, intellectual property. And as I mentioned, we have business law area in the business school, and some of my colleagues work on this AI, law, copyright, and so forth issues. So if any of your work revolves around law or corporate strategy, we have several colleagues who work in this space. All right, I mentioned healthcare is a very big area. I mean, telemedicine, digital health, a very important area in terms of complementing or even replacing traditional hospitals or ambulatory centers. So we see a great potential there. And of course, when people say that 95% of the typical physician client patient visit can be automated, you kind of think about, if only 5% of the visits need to be in person, then 95% can be done digitally. And of course, many of us don't feel comfortable yet to go to a physician, not to go to a doctor's office. I guess none of us likes to spend 1 hour waiting in the doctor's office, in the waiting room. And they call it waiting room because you have to wait. But if you can do it electronically on your mobile device, that can save a lot of money, a lot of effort. And of course, with the challenges with the healthcare is something that is very important. precision medicine in terms of diagnosis. A lot of work can be done in analytics, and I'm sure there's work in AHR. How are you doing on time, Nick? I can speak forever, but but a lot of work, and actually that's my 5 more minutes. And do you have questions or just me talking? All right, okay. All right, always happy to answer questions. So anyway, so EHR, we have a lot of data in hospitals, and we have many of my colleagues, including myself, who do work on EHR data and how we can improve quality of care in terms of personalization of medicine, and of course, diagnosis, which is very important. And some of my colleagues work in this very space, including the privacy of patients. All right, the other one is actually, there's an Asteras. We're trying to recruit someone in this smart cities, societal applications of AI, but we're very close, so hopefully it'll be another area that how we can use data to improve how cities are operating in terms of sustainability, and that's, I think, another important area that we can contribute as a school. So in the interest of time, in the interest of answering some questions you might have, so I'd like to just conclude by saying that we have a wide variety of expertise in the business school that I would like to open up this collaboration opportunity. So some of my colleagues are here. I mentioned their names on the screen. And of course, I'd be happy to serve as a conduit for any collaboration that can happen across all these areas. And of course, anything relates to business, including finance, including other more traditional areas of business that you think there is some value from an economic perspective, in terms of business perspective, we're very much open to such collaborations. So with that, I'd like to thank you for listening to me, and I look forward to any questions you might have. So thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Fascinating areas of research. Well, I guess one of the questions I had was related to the operations research, and if you see any opportunities for overlap with some of the healthcare activities you do. So I'm thinking operations around wait times, and whether it be scheduling for emergency room visits or imaging and things of this nature.
Absolutely, yes. Actually, as I mentioned earlier, and we had a meeting with our management science department earlier today, and we're discussing how we can do more collaboration with the, let's call it broadly, U-Health. And we have faculty who work in different areas, so in what we call analytics of different kinds. Mostly, and I mentioned some examples of optimization, how to help with throughput rates, how you help with how to leverage data to optimize certain processes. And as you realize, hospitals are very complex operations that they need, they produce a lot of data, they need to have a lot of efficiencies and so forth, both from a throughput standpoint and also from a quality of care. Actually, I have some of my colleagues we work on with Baskin Palmer, the Eye Institute, to improve their processes. We'll be happy to have other such collaborations, and that's part of our outreach to the hospital. And I met with some of the senior leadership, and we said, if you help us with data, with what are the challenges you might face, and it can be across the board. It can be from operations, it can be from supply chain aspects, it can be from even diagnosis aspects. We have some colleagues who work on cancer diagnosis from an imaging perspective. So my general belief is that whatever there are data that you can draw upon, and you can find solutions, and then you can hopefully automate them in a more of a machine learning approach, you can do great things. So, and we provide that expertise from statistics, machine learning, as I described here. But I think one of the most fertile areas for research is in the healthcare domain, including now with EHR systems, creating so much data. You can leverage a lot of data, you can do a lot of experiments, and improve the different aspects of healthcare. So, absolutely.
I have a question about AI entrepreneurship. You mentioned democratization of AI. So one way to democratize AI is perhaps to use the ground like our business school here to power small and medium businesses, perhaps with small language models, with the opportunity for them to compete effectively. It sort of reminds me of my electronic commerce days. By the way, most of the things that you put here on the screen has been done with the AI technology, like agents technology for suggestive sales. I personally was doing it. I was doing agents technology for electronic commerce. So AI is not a new discipline. So the question is, what is novel nowadays, and what is the repetition of the old days that has to be adjusted or ingested, if you will, in the new environments, new economic models. So I see business school being a fertile ground for new economic models, because it's not about the technology, it's about understanding how technology can be monetized in this environment. But my main question, AI for entrepreneurship, how can you power companies with these novel technologies?
Yes, well, thank you very much, Yelena. That's a conversation that we had with some of my colleagues, and I'm very big believer on the entrepreneurship in general, and of course AI technology can be a great way to use the technology. So first of all, let me agree with you. I mean, obviously, what we see here, it's like the novel applications of AI across different aspects of business. But yes, basically, what is the next generation of research is on the new models and the new approaches, and of course the actual effective implementation. I mean, your point is absolutely correct. I didn't mention it because it's a data science institute. We try to find more collaborations on data, and entrepreneurship is not exactly like a very data-driven or data-intensive aspect. So intentionally, as much as I like AI for entrepreneurship, is one of the main areas that we're working on, and we have several colleagues and who are working in this space. But overall, the answer is absolutely. I think there's so much opportunity, and you're absolutely right that small and medium companies are more likely to need help in terms of using AI tools. Of course, I will qualify that even large companies have a hard time with AI. And actually, the nice question I have from bigger companies, like, what do we need to know about AI, from our CEO all the way to our 20,000, 50,000 employees? And I think that's a very simple question, so let me answer it for you. But as you understand, I'm being facetious. I mean, it's a very complex question, and of course, AI is changing a lot, and so in different areas across any organization. So, but I think that's where I see so much potential that we can create value for organizations from the small, the medium, the large in different ways. So definitely that's something that I think the more we can collaborate here, the better we can be in different facets. Thank you very much.